Welcome, family. I just want to introduce you to DJ Leon D. My music is a little salt and a little pepper. The salt is old school, the pepper is new school. So, welcome to the music mix, and let's get it on.
Welcome to Showbiz Eats. Now, we tell you from the very beginning that we're not experts at anything. No, we got a lot of life experiences because we lived around the world and we lived around the country. So tonight we're going to talk about the elections. What should you eat? When should you eat? How you should eat? And what politicians that you would enjoy a meal with. We're going to talk about the candidates, not just the presidential candidates, but those who ran for president as well. Now, let's get right into it. Other day as I was voting, I noticed a lady, she had 3 full Chick-fil-A bags. And it was just her and her son. And I'm thinking to myself, you have 3 bags, no drinks, and you're going to feed you and that little boy who looks like he might be overweight. Actually, he was fat as hell. So, the funny thing about all this stuff was that she sat down on a bench and she ate. She just kept pulling food out of their bag, and I'm thinking to myself, how big is that damn bag? Because it's almost like she was beyond her elbow and still pulling food out of bag number 1. The little boy was in bag number 2. Now, he had the fries from Chick-fil-A, which we know is greasy as hell, but tastes good. Don't get me wrong, tastes good. He pulled out stuff that I have never seen in Chick-fil-A. Now, I know that they serve fries, salads, and all that. No, not him. He pulled out a full pot of macaroni and cheese. So, the funny thing about all this was that she didn't understand why he was fat. She just said, oh, you're hungry, and we'll make sure you're all right. So, she did all that. And then, I was thinking to myself, there's an older couple. I'm thinking, okay, he looks like he's hungry as hell. She was skinny, big chest, but skinny. She took out a McDonald's bag. And now he's on a respirator. He has a walker. He has a cane. He has all the stuff you should never have. He had it all. And he might have been 50 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, you are trying to kill him without saying, I'm trying to kill you. Because, she was working on it hard. So, my whole thing is, if you're going to be in line for a number of hours, eat before you go. Because when you eat while you're there, and you got big lips, and you're fat, people notice. It doesn't matter if you take small bites or you take large bites. People are going to notice that you're fat. And, one lady was in line, and she might have been in her mid-30s. Her husband brought her food. Pulled the car up, gave her food, gave her a napkin, spoon, fork, and knife. And she had a feast in front of me. And now you stay, you say stay 6 feet away. The smell of that food looked like barbecue. The smell of that food went about 20 feet in both directions. So I'm thinking to myself, she's having a feast while she's waiting to vote. People, eat before you get there. And then you can have your tacos, your ribs, all the stuff, your pulled pork. You can have all of that while you're standing in line, and you look kind of greedy when you do all that. But if you eat before you go, you don't look as greedy. Now, here's the funny thing about it. They had a food truck across the street. I guarantee you that food truck made as much money by sitting there across the street as all the other fast food restaurants combined. Now, people walked out of the voting area, out of the arena where we voted at, to the food truck. Now, if I'm Chick-fil-A, Mission Barbecue, or maybe even a Famous Dave, why would you not have a food truck outside a voting hall? Whether it's a high school, arena, whatever you want to call it. Why not have a food truck at that particular place? That's what I would do. Because that was guaranteed cash. And if you stand in line 3 or 4 hours, when you finish, you are hungry as hell. You are very hungry when you finish. So I'm thinking to myself, that's a very, very good idea. The food do not have to be good. When people are hungry, they don't care about good food versus bad food. They care about food. So as you go vote, because voting is very, very important. That is one of the most fundamental rights that we have as a citizen. People have fought for it, they've cried for it, and people have died for it. Go vote. Because if you don't, you can't complain. Now, here's the other funny thing. Somebody wrote in and said, who would you want to have your meal with before the election? All of the candidates is who I would pick. Whether it's Congress, Senate, or President. I can have a meal with all of them before I vote. Now, on election day, no. I want somebody who can eat the foods that I eat. Let's just go on the list. Can you envision yourself with ribs and Donald Trump? No, you can't. Can you envision yourself with Joe Biden and ribs? No, I think Joe Biden might be a chicken wing type person. Donald Trump might be a person who maybe want caviar and something upper class because he grew up with a golden spoon. Joe Biden is a working man type of person. He may have your wild rice, he may have not necessarily caviar, but maybe a Ruth Chris type steak. Now, Bernie is totally different. I think that me and Bernie could have ribs, baked beans, and rice, and mac and cheese, and we would all be happy. Because I think that Bernie would pick up the ribs with his bare hands. Now, Mike Pence, I think that Mike Pence, I think he's a meat and potato. Being from the Midwest, I think he's just meat and potatoes. I think Mike Pence would be fat as hell if he did not, or if he was not in a public office. I think he would be fat as hell. Because I know he likes meat and potatoes, and probably a lot of Amish food. Kamala Harris, hey, nothing wrong with soul food and Indian food. I think with her, we'd have a lot of soul food and Indian food. Spice with comfort food. I think that's how she views life. Now, people are going to go out and vote, and I tell everybody, the voting line is like Southwest Airlines, like Southwest. Take what you want to eat and enjoy the meal. The hell with who's watching you, because our opinions are already made up. If you in line and you eat twice, you're fat. You're fat as hell. If you're in line and you eat twice, go to Boston Chicken and get a rotisserie chicken while you're in line. And see, it's always weird that the person who's going to bring you food is smaller than you. They are smaller than you. Fat people don't like to do a lot of mobility type stuff. No, that's why they're fat. And I'm always stunned, like the lady I seen today eating Popeye's chicken. And I looked at her little daughter, a little skinny little girl. And I know her daughter's thinking that if I continue eating with mom or dad, I'm going to be just as big as they are. If you can't see that, you got a hell of a life in front of you. I saw that a mile away. I'm like, fat mom, fat dad, skinny daughter, skinny son, they're going to be fat. Because the mom and dad each had a chicken to eat. I'm talking about a whole chicken. They both had their own rotisserie chicken. So as you grow up, young lady, young man, if your parents are fat, there's a good chance you're going to be fat. Now, after the election, some of you are going to have caviar. Some of you are going to have nice red rosé wine. Some of you are going to have all that. Some of you are going to have hot dogs and burgers. If you lose, that's the meal you deserve. If you win, get the get the upscale food. Get the upscale food if you lose. If you win. Everybody wants to be a winner. This election is going to see a change in contrast in how we eat. You can't have cheap foods and low wages. It doesn't work out for anybody that way. Fast food for the losers. Get your food, go home, cry, whatever you're going to do. The upscale food is for your winners. Get your food and enjoy yourself. Socialize with your friends. Brag about your candidate. Brag about all the changes, or actually, it's going to be changes either way. Brag about all that. Don't let it get to a point where you don't vote and you complaining about things. Even the food. Our food supply is all messed up. To this day, this pandemic been going on since February. And I really believe since December of 2019. Go and vote for your candidate, because the supply chain should not be the way it is after all these months. It is ridiculous. The supply chain, should be a lot better than now. So, the supply chain affects a lot of people, including myself. I'm trying to buy things that is only made in China. They're 6 months behind. We should by now have had this pandemic problem solved. We should have had it solved by now. But election food is different. If I'm going to pick somebody to eat with, I'm picking Bernie. Because I know Bernie will get down, dirty, and nasty with me when it comes to comfort food, when it comes to barbecue. I think Trump will be too standoffish. And I think Joe Biden will be saying, what is the hell is he eating over there? Are those pork skins? Are those hog maws? Are those collard greens? Things that Trump has never heard of, and Bernie eats every single day. I think Kamala is somebody that we can say, you know what? She's a all around the world type girl. I think Kamala would do that. Mike Pence would never even step into the restaurant that I'm going to take him to. No. I don't think he would ever step into the restaurants I go to, the shacks I love so much. I don't think he would ever go into any of those. I think Kamala would try it, but I think Bernie would be all for it. I think that Joe Biden would try it just to try it. If a union was there, he would try it just to try it. Trump, if it's not something that he don't serve at his Trump Towers, I don't think he would even try it out. I think he would look at it or hear the name and say, oh, it's not me. If I want a taco, I think Kamala would be all right. But I don't think Mike Pence would be. I just can't imagine what kind of food that Mike Pence eats. Because I know whatever he eats, it's not me. I don't want fried broccoli sprouts. A lot of things I don't want, that I think that he would just say, this is my normal meal. But I think that if I gave him potatoes and meat, a steak, I think he would be all on board. And I'm all for that. So, people, as you get ready to vote in a couple of days, when you're in line, get food that you like, but more importantly, smells good to those behind you and in front of you, because the wind's going to blow everywhere. This is Showbiz Eats. This is our special election edition, and we will talk to you later. Peace. Enjoy the video.